I figured we might as well give you a little bit of an update. All of my compliment kings out there who are just really chasing those positive remarks. I'm going to go ahead and kind of go over the fragrances that have gotten me the most amount of compliments so far. Kind of walking our way into that halfway point of the year already, which is crazy. So might as well go ahead and kick this one out there. Of course, at the end of the year, I will have my yearly most complimented video covering everything throughout the year, but this is just kind of going over what's been working well for me so far. Do keep in mind, this starts back in January, winter time. So we're going to have a good dose of winter fragrances in here, and also a few summertime fragrances starting to work their way in as we're kind of in that season now. Links to all these will be down below as per usual. Best prices around, going to be down there. We're going to start off with LACOSTE L1212 BLANC Eau Fraiche. So this one is a new release, 2022. Came out at the very beginning, or more towards the beginning of the year. Kind of one that shocked me in a good way. It's really nice. I have a few LACOSTE fragrances. They're all just clean and fresh. Usually nothing to necessarily write home about, but this one here is impressive to me. It's got just a overwhelming dose of kind of the sour sweet citrus going on in here with a ton of musk. It's very clean, very fresh. It's impossible to offend anyone with this fragrance. Trust me when I say it. This one just now made its way over to discounters, 100 mil, $39 or so. At least at the time of me recording this, it may be out of stock by then, but it's finally working its way there, which is more like it. Retail price for this one's a little bit steep. Discounters though, for about half that, that's pretty good pickup. Next up, we have John Varvatos Artisan Pure. I really started breaking this one out in springtime. So this one's got petitgrain, it's got citrus, neroli, a bunch of kind of herbal notes, good amount of aromatics in here. Unique stuff, okay? This is unlike most designer releases out there, which is why it kind of carved its own little nook in the community, and it has a really solid kind of following behind it, A lot of people really back this one and support it, and I'm glad, because this is the type of thing that we want, something new and different, and if we don't support that, we're not going to continue to get that stuff. John Varvatos has always kind of been somewhat of a pioneer. They've fallen off in some spots, now they're kind of getting back on track, but they put out some great stuff, and this is one of them. It's a real nice people pleaser. It's a great, crisp, clean, white t-shirt scent that's great for a warm summer morning. Really nice stuff, and in a lot of places is pretty affordable, $40, $45 or so, sometimes a bit less. Next up at number 8, we have Parfums de Marly SEDLEY here. This one started breaking out here more recently. I kind of broke it out end of spring as it really started to get hot, and now kind of working really into summer, even though it's still technically not summer by standards, but when it's real feel of 109, it's summer. And this is when this one shines. It's got ambroxan, a lot of musk, good amount of citruses, a little bit of apple in here, kind of a fruitiness. It's one of my favorite freshies from Parfums de Marly. I've really taken a liking to this one. I prefer this one over Percival, and still probably prefer it over Greenly, although I do really like Greenly. What I like about this one as well is the performance is crazy good, being that it is a fresher scent. It's worth its weight in gold. Yeah, it's a niche fragrance. Yeah, it's expensive, but for everything that you get out of this one, quality, uniqueness for what it is, and performance, it's definitely worth the investment. A little bit goes a long way, and it's a big people pleaser. And one thing's for sure, if you have your fragrance down, that's kind of the thing that a lot of guys out there don't really think about necessarily is their fragrance, right? A lot of guys do wear cologne, but when you compare that to kind of what's going on in other parts of the world, here in the United States anyway, it's much more rare for men to really be into wearing a fragrance or a cologne, right? It just doesn't go on here as much as in other parts of the world. So if you get that down, you're going to be set. But one other thing that's probably almost even more rare in some instances is actually taking care of your skin. After all, your face is going to be the first thing that people see, and they'll probably see that before they smell your fragrance. So if you're keeping everything in check up here, it's going to make it that much easier. And that's why every month we hook up with Tiege Hanley to be the sponsor of the video, and here on the channel they've been supporting us, and they've supported me by making my face look good. Like, it used to be acne ridden. You guys know, you can look back. I encourage you not to do that, but you can if you want, so you know I'm not making stuff up. I had horrible skin. It was bad. So with Tiche, they ship everything you need to your doorstep every single month. I recommend starting with their level 1 system, which includes all of the basics, a daily face wash, a 2 times per week exfoliating scrub, a morning moisturizer with SPF 20, and an evening moisturizer that you apply before you go to bed. They ship all of the stuff directly to you, along with an instruction card telling you what to apply, when to apply it, and how much of it you should apply, so you really can't mess it up. Again, 1 box a month, and you can get Tiche Hanley, the level 1 system, for less than $1 a day, which when you think about it that way, it's a no-brainer, right? It really will make you feel so much better about yourself, and you're gonna look so much better. And really, realistically, you may get more compliments from it as well. Hate to say that, but it's kind of true. If your skin looks great, that could be another point of feedback as well. So again, thank you to Tiche Hanley for sponsoring this video. They really will help you get your skin in line. Hit the first link down below in the description to get 30% off your first box, plus a free gift on top of that, which is really cool. They're hooking you up, and really it's hard to say no to this offer, because after you use it for a while, you'll see results pretty quick. You're gonna be hooked. First link down below, Tiche Hanley. Let's get back into it. Next up, Prada Luna Rossa Ocean. So this one has iris, it's got bergamot. So it's kind of, I guess, their take on an iris fragrance in this line. You know, they already have iris over in the Prada L'Homme line, right? They weren't shy about it. But they didn't really bring it over to this line until now. So it's kind of blue fragrance inspired, but a sweeter blue fragrance with that iris. Again, they already have a blue with carbon, right? Sauvage smelling and leaning, very much so. So it's not like it's something new here with this line. But in terms of scent, it is different. It's much different than carbon, being that it is sweeter, more aromatic. Think of something more along the lines of a Eau de Parfum, Ralph Lauren, Ralph's Club, something along those lines, just aromatic leaning with some sweetness, but a good amount of freshness as well. That's what Ocean is all about. First, I wasn't too enthusiastic about it, but after I've worn it more, especially kind of in spring, early summer temperatures, it's done really well for me, and I actually really like it. Number 6, we have 1 Million Lucky by Paco Rabanne. So I was hitting this one pretty hard there kind of earlier on in the year, and then word got out that it is in fact discontinued, and so I kind of backed off on it a little bit. I want to preserve what I have left here, and I do need to get me a backup bottle, because I actually don't even think I've gotten one yet. Maybe I have, maybe I haven't. I don't think I have though. I'm probably gonna pick up a 200 ml because they aren't that much more expensive. But yeah, discontinued. It's got plum, it's got hazelnut, honey, ozonic notes. It's quite the unique pairing. It really is different, and that's what I like about it, you know. 1 Million Privé, similar deal where it was just something kind of different and refreshing, and they discontinued that one as well. So just making room for more stuff is all it is, right? They have Parfum, and then now the newest Elixir. Eventually one of those will get discontinued to make room for more. Just, you know, rinse and repeat. So if you want this one, I would get it while you can. It is a huge people pleaser. Just go out there and look online. You'll see a lot of people getting good feedback from this one. Good performer. It's all around a really nice scent, and I'm sad to see it go. Number 5, Valentino Uomo Intense. Hitting this one pretty hard in wintertime, especially when it was really, really cold, mainly because it's comforting. Like, this is one of those fragrances that will warm you up, make you feel good. For me, I've been very vocal about this on the channel. I'm not a fan of wintertime. I don't like it. You know, here in wintertime, it gets cold. So, you know, it's not uncommon to see real feels in the negatives, right? That's cold, right? That is chilly, especially with the wind chill and everything. Going outside can be miserable, right? And I just don't like it. I like to be outside. And so this is one of those fragrances that will kind of warm me up and, more importantly, just put me in a good mood. You know, this one does have iris. It's got this kind of chocolatey smell. Bits of leather in here, very creamy, almost gourmand. It really is delicious stuff, and it fits in with the Dior Homme Intense, Gentleman Eau de Parfum, Gentleman Reserve Privé style of thing, and now most recently Narciso Rodriguez Bleu Noir Parfum kind of fits into this. So there's a lot of them to choose from now, but what I like about this one is that it kind of bridges the gap of not being too challenging, but also not being like too mass-pleasing and dumbed back, where, you know, Gentleman Eau de Parfum, not saying that it's dumbed down, but it is going to be the most wearable. This is the middle ground, and I like that. You know, sometimes Dior Homme Intense, I kind of have to be in the mood for it too, and so the Valentino is just one that I gravitate towards. Really like it a lot, and it's a people pleaser. Number 4, we have Polo Blue Parfum, the newest one. Really impressed me here. Not to be confused with Polo Deep Blue Parfum. I messed this whole thing up in a video not too long ago, and luckily people knew what I was talking about. Polo Deep Blue Parfum is not this, and it's completely different. I'm talking about Polo Blue Parfum. I nailed it this time. Yes, different fragrances. Newest one right here. Bottles are different too. You'll be able to tell. But basically, this one is that Polo Blue DNA, of course, but it's even more refined, more aromatic, more mature, more masculine. This is very important. You have to get into the dry down on skin, because when I did my first impressions, of course it was on skin, but opening, you're getting Polo Blue and you're like, okay, what gives? Why do I need this? I have Polo Blue, right? Everyone has Polo Blue pretty much. But once you get into that dry down, it takes a turn for the better. Much more aromatic, more mature. There's just this kind of oak smell in here as well. Good amount of woods really start to come through. The dry down is heavenly. It's where it's at. It really gets much more smooth and so much more unique. It is the Polo Blue to get, in my opinion. Really good stuff. And as you would imagine, it is a big people pleaser. I mean, it's just hard not to like. Number 3, one that I hit quite often, it's MONTBLANC Explorer. So you guys know the drill on this one. It's Creed Aventus Clone as the notes. It's really, who cares about the notes? It smells like Aventus. What I like about this one is it's somewhat still different. So, I don't know, like if I want as close to Aventus as I can get without wearing Aventus, of course, I would go for either a Parfums Vintage, which would be more expensive, or an Armaf Club Nuit Intense Man. I really would, right? MONTBLANC Explorer is still heavily inspired, very much a clone of Aventus, which I don't blame them for it. Creed did copy MONTBLANC with Original Santal, right? What is it? Individuel came first by MONTBLANC and then Original Santal a few years later. So they're getting their revenge here. I'm all for it. But what I also like is they almost had some dignity and tweaked it a little bit. Still very close, but they probably could have gotten it closer. But I think it was cool that they maybe backed it off a little bit, changed it a little bit, just slightly different. And I like that. I like how it smells. You know, it's almost a little bit less impactful and rich as Aventus in some ways, where Aventus is very fruity and then birchy right off the rip. It doesn't hold back. This one holds back. It's a little bit more light and it's a little bit more approachable in some situations. Really good scent, and it's a huge compliment getter. Number 2, we have Stronger With You, absolutely. So number 2 and number 1 are going to be more wintertime scents, just because I was wearing them pretty far into, into this year. We kind of had some cold weather up until we had hot weather, basically. What I'm saying is there wasn't much of a spring. It kind of went from cold to hot. So I was wearing winter fragrances for, kind of the bulk of the beginning of the year here, which is why they're kind of taking up a lot in this list. Stronger With You, absolutely my favorite. It's got chestnut, it's got vanilla, has rum. I always love when brands add a rum note or a boozy note. I've said it ad nauseum on this channel, and when they do it, I get super pumped up. It's my favorite. It's not everyone's favorite. Some people like the original still as their favorite. Some people like Intensely as their favorite. For me, this is it. It's richer, it's stronger, a little bit more mature, even though it is still playful. It's a big people pleaser. Really like this stuff, and I've had a lot of luck with it. And we're ending this one with another clone. Believe it or not, another clone. This one's been impressive for me. I've done a review or a first impressions on, I can't remember which one it was at this point, not too awfully long ago, and I've been wearing it a lot. Not so much now, but sometimes I will, even though it's kind of out of season. A lot of times I'll actually use this to freshen up in here and just around the basement, just to make it smell good down here, because it's cheap, right? And I wouldn't spray this one willy-nilly. The real version. You're going to understand what I'm talking about. It's DETOUR Noir by HARAMAIN, a latent clone. So, I personally would not just go spraying latent around the house, because, that stuff is not cheap, right? I would cringe every time I do that. Every time I spray one of them up in the air for the video, I'm like, oh, there goes another spray. With this, I don't care, right? It's cheap. It's affordable. It doesn't bother me. I'll spray this one all around because it smells great. I like my space to smell like this one. It's relaxing. I love the Latent DNA. I love DETOUR Noir. It's really nice stuff. You get that cinnamon, you get that apple, that sweetness in here. It's impressed me since the beginning. It is a shockingly close clone, and the quality also is well above average for stuff in this price range, that's for sure. And the quality is well above average for stuff in this price range, that's for sure. Great stuff here, and performance is good too, as you can imagine, big people pleaser. Alrighty guys, that's gonna do it for me. That's my most complimented fragrances of the year so far. Good stuff in here. Hopefully you guys enjoyed this one. Make sure to check out Tiege Hanley. I will link them down below. 30% off your first box plus a free gift. Thank you so much for watching. Stay safe, stay healthy, and we'll see you tomorrow with another one. Take care.